All right, I think let's get started. And thank you everyone for joining. And it's me, Anton, and I'm a ACHC and a CHAP accredited consultant. Have been helping many providers to license the HCU, basically the home care organization license in the state of California. So, all right, so to get started, I represent carepolicy.us and home care consulting.us. So we are specialized in helping initial or new providers to license their home care agencies and to help them get the license approvals from the state licensing divisions. So to get started, I would like to have a casual chat with Ade and Amna. So Ade, could you please let us know which stage are you right now in terms of licensing journey? What steps or actions have you taken so far? Or are you starting from scratch? To get started, I'd like to let you know that I'm Anton Fonseka and I'm a senior consultant at carepolicy.us and homecareconsulting.us. So we are a CHC and CHAPS accredited consultants, have been helping for many providers all across US, all 50 states. There are states that are regulated and there are states that are not regulated. So for everyone who needs in terms of regulatory guidelines, we have been helping in terms of licensing journey for all kinds of provider type, home care agencies, home health agencies, group homes, mental health, so all kinds of provider types. We can help you in terms of the licensing and administrative support, and also operational support in terms of marketing, IT, branding, and everything we do under care policy and home care consulting umbrella. Okay, so today's plan is to help you understand the home care organization in California. So every state has its own way to reference home care agency. So, for example, in the state of Illinois, we just had a chat with that day, and it's referred as home services agency. In Georgia, it's private home care agency. In Texas, it's personal assistance services. But in California, it's home care organization, OHCO, and it's pretty much governed under the CDSS. So today the plan is to get you the detailed understanding of how you can license, what you should be having in terms of the basic eligibility criterias, and the documents you should be having in order to submit the application, and what are the do's and don'ts. Everything will be explaining you during this entire session. So going forward with about the company, as I explained, we help you with the complete licensing, and we guarantee the license approval for you as long as you do not have any felonies or convictions, or basically you have a safe and clear background. Everything is good to go. So going forward with this, the objectives of this webinar, we will be helping you to understand the right license to build the trust in terms of what administrative codes, what are the laws and legislations that you should be following, and what are the expectations from the state and how they are going to review your applications once we submit to the state. And also, you should be able to get from this webinar full licensing process, a clear view on how you can license a complete license in obtain the home care license from the California CDSS. And all the rules and regulations will be discussed, and also we'll be discussing about the mistakes and how to avoid any deadlines or any extra fees or any reduce the workload of the paperwork. And with minimum cost of you can fast track the licensing journey is what we are planning to give you all the guidelines today. And also, the policies and procedures are a crucial key component of the entire package. So we'll be giving you all the guidelines, how to write policy procedures, what you should be understanding, how to reference the administrative codes, and how to be in compliant to the state specific standards and regulations when you submit the policies and procedures. And right at the end of this session, we have a plan to show you a real life example on how we take a client from starting point to getting the license at a short time frame. So instead of California, it would be around minimum 3 to 6 months is the average time to get everything approved. But from our end, we are just taking 21 days to complete this detailed package for you and make sure everything is streamlined. So going forward with this home care organization, so what can you provide under this license? So when you think about the home care organization, this 100% reflects non-medical home care services. So under this license, you can provide personal support services, for example, bathing, dressing, meal preparation, companion sitting, light housekeeping, and it's more towards to promote independence and improve the quality of life for seniors. So that's the whole objective of home care organization. And please note that this is only for non-medical home care support services, not for skilled or medical related services. So you can provide medical for skill related services. If you want to get or provide skilled or medical related services, you should be licensed in a home health agency, and you should be either RN or you should be hiring an RN. So to changes, and there are different processes on how you can do that. So when we talk about the market in the state of California, there's a huge growth in terms of the demand for senior care. And there's around 16%, as you can see, 16% of the population are over 65. And there's a big shortage of care providers compared to the aging population. So you have a huge demand in terms of having and running an agency within the state of California and getting clients and providing the support services for the community at the same time doing a great business, helping the community and grow your business and into multiple counties and markets in the state of California. So, and the other good news is that I think we need to talk about this because of countries, a bit of change in regulatory changes because of the current situations of the country. We've been getting few states alerts on change in regulations for the licensing and getting certain areas more strict compared to before, especially the background checks and the eligibility criteria. So it's best to make use of the existing streamlined process to license now itself instead of dragging. If you are thinking about going into this business for senior care, I think it's the right and the best time to grab the license and get things kickstarted. Okay, so let's try to move forward with three important things you need to consider in licensing process. So this is pretty much for California or any other states, everything it's going to be standardized in terms of these tips and tricks. So the most important thing is that you should understand the state licensing requirements and regulations. So I'll try to show you some the regulatory requirements. So as you can see these are the California legislative information, and this is applicable for home care organization. So we must make sure all of these articles and the chapter codes are met when we write or create all your documentation for licensing. And all of these requirements must meet when you submit the application. All the regulations should be in 100% compliance. And when you write the policy procedures, everything should be referenced. The job descriptions of the let's say administrative codes, regulations, sections, everything should be referenced. So that's how the state would cross-check when we submit the application along with the supporting documents that we create, right? So the regulation is the most important thing in getting the license because everything should be 100% in compliance. as per the regulations from the state. Okay, so set up your business structure, services, and the budget. This is more important for new providers. You should have your LLC, limited liability company. If you are a one partner or two partners, it's recommended to go for a limited liability company under the Secretary of State. So in the California state, it's a California Secretary of State. You have to register for your LLC or incorporation. And at the same time, make sure to opt for EIN, that is the employee identification number. From the Department of IRS, you should be having an EIN document right at the time of registering your LLC. So policy procedures and the application paperwork are key component in the entire package. So we will be discussing how and what it should include in the entire package. We'll try to take you through the entire process for you to understand during this session today. Right, so step-by-step licensing process. So this is more important for a new provider who do not have any clue on how to license and how to do things. And this is basically we're trying to help you to do it yourself so that you don't need to get any outside support. You can do everything yourself and you understand on how to do everything from your end. So let me try to go into initials. Okay, so pre-application consideration. So there is something, it's the state of California, they have published forms known as HCS. So HCS forms starting with 281, that is the form that represents the all of the requirements to become a home care provider, the state of California. And this is provided to public by California Department of Social Services. This is also called as CDSS. So I'll try to show you this document for your understanding. So this is this has everything basically, but it's pretty detailed or sometimes complex for someone who's first time looking into it. So these are the sections. So these forms, everything should be completed under section A, and these are more of legal documentation. So under legal documentations, you are supposed to provide the applicant information and the agency information. So under applicant information, you are required to show your credentials in terms of, wow, what's your background, and your SSN, the driver's license, your information, basically the applicant information. And you should have all of the applicant, as I mentioned, the SSN, driver's license, resume, mandatory information that should be included, and those information should be filled in these forms provided by the state. Unlike any other state, California state of licensing, they have provided all the forms from their end, and the templates, everything is given for us. So we have to fill all this information accurately to avoid anything. No, there cannot be any errors, and everything has to be perfect when you try to submit to the state. And also this includes your LLC, and more importantly, the state of California requires you to submit liability insurance, 1 million sum insured and 3 million of aggregate value. So we will be showing everything in detail today during this session. And also the surety bond of $10,000 should also be included in your application package. And every information has to be submitted through these forms, signed from attorney and from the principal signing from the owner's end. Everything should be included and completed before we submit. So this is the section A, and there's another section called section B. Just to glance through everything, I'll try to take you through the basic steps and the processes. So the section B represents more of supporting documentation that you are supposed to submit to the state. So as you can see, the LLC is the first requirement, and this is not a written supporting document, but this is more of a initial legal document. Every provider should have basically register LLC or incorporation, and that document should be presented to the state at the point of application. And job description for every position that we are trying to provide in terms of the home care organization, all positions should be having the job description, and they have specified on how we have to create this job description. We have to tell where for example, let's say the administrator is a job position, and that person, when you write these job descriptions for the state, we have to write from to whom do you provide the service as administrator, and to from whom you get the supervisory advice. So we have to tell both the sides, the reporting party and the information where you get from which party to report to. So those kinds of information we have to make sure we include as per their guidelines and the regulations. So far, any of you do have any questions? Abna, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all good.
Okay.
Yeah, can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
Yeah, I know this is California, but then the job description part of it, since we're going to be having description of each position, and we're just doing the non-medical agency, but then you need to have like a supervisor who kind of go to the homes to make sure that the CNAs are doing what they're supposed to do, or the caregivers.
Yeah.
Do we also include the supervisor job description as well?
Yes, so the supervisor will more of the administrator and the supervisor. Administrator will be the person who will be overlooking everything. So that person can either be the supervisor, or it will go under the designations and the role of administrator more in most of the cases. But for the licensing requirements, it's not recommended to have too many people mention at the point of application. This is a trick that I'm telling for most of the providers. Try to stay try to stay low. If you are the administrator and the owner, and if there is no mandatory requirement from the state, just stick to yourself right at the point of application. It's easy and fast way to get the approvals from the state, because only you would be required to go background checks and fingerprinting and everything. But more the people we bring at the point of application, then everybody should be going through background checks, and more documentations and formalities should also be submitted. But I understand your question. So in terms of the supervisor job descriptions, you can write it. That's not a problem. You can have either administrator or supervisor, and the roles can be clearly stated in the documents that you submit. And for operational purpose, you can actually hire them, but after you get the license. But at the point of application, my recommendation is just stick to the only one person, if possible, for administrator, because in the state of California or even the state of Illinois, you have to represent yourself if you are the only owner, or if you are two partner owners, then only both of you will be having to represent as two different roles. So try to stay less number of people. So that's the fastest way for everything. But operational and the documentation wise, you can add any information addition in your documentation. So that would fulfill more areas and more roles and responsibilities for your agency for future services.
Okay. One last question. So for the CNA role, which is I'll have the job description and all, will they go through background check, even though I've not yet hired them because I don't have any licensing? Are they requiring me to hire them and then have them go through background check? Or how does that work?
Okay, so since you are from the state of Illinois and you're concerned about the home services in the state of Illinois, you are not required to have the CNAs right at the point of application. And therefore, you are not supposed to get them background checks or fingerprinting, because that's not a mandatory requirement. Because for home services, only an administrator is required, and only you and your partner can represent everything until you get every approvals.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, okay. All right, so getting back to California home care organization and the section B is most important area because you have to provide more of the support services, support documentations that is required for your license in terms of job descriptions, personal policies, training plan, and home care organization program descriptions, and insurance. So insurance is not something that you can create or write. You basically have to go for an insurance agent and obtain an insurance document, as I mentioned previously. You have to get the 1 million of sum insured value for your agency name and 3 million aggregate value. So one important thing everyone should understand, when you are in the licensing journey, you are no longer considered an individual. You represent your business and the legal entity that you have registered. So they don't consider who you are, they consider what's your agency name, your agency address, and those information is what the licensing analyst would check and try to verify before they grant you the approvals, right? So these are the most important areas for California agency, the Section A and Section B. You must have these ready at the time of application. And one important thing I can tell you, the state of California, they do not have online application processing for non-medical home care organization. Everything has to be manual. It has to be manually mailed to the state address. I think I can show you right in the first pages. Here we go. So the submit instructions, as you can see, it must be submitted manually to California Department of Social Services, and there is no online option. So everything should be created, written, signed, attorney signed, printed, create the binder, and mail to this uh, mailing address. And before mailing, one more important thing, you should definitely have a check or a money order for $5,600. That is the application fee of the state of California for home care organization. And that must be attached to the package that you will be sending to the state. Right. Okay, so yeah, comparatively 5,600, it's kind of quite steep in terms of the rest of the states that we talk about, because I think the California is the highest application fee compared to any other state licensing fee. Yeah. Okay, so right. So here are the information, and these are the forms that we discuss in the section A. Components, and these forms must be created. I mean, these forms must be completed before we submit everything to the states. I think I can show you some sample forms. These forms should be downloaded, and all these information should be fulfilled in terms of your county. Home care organization number is not required at this stage because you are not yet licensed. So you can skip this, and that is only for department use. But the rest of the information, the applicant information, you can mention your uh, non-profit, no, not non-profit. It's going to be either a limited liability corporation or for profit corporation. So everything you have to take based on your business structure. So it depends from person to person. I cannot tell you straightforward way, but you have to make sure that you take the right one. Probably it's recommended to go for profit instead of non-profit, because non-profit, it has a different legal process to proceed. So like this, you have to complete all these forms and make sure you take the initial application and fill all these mailing address, home care address, and all of these information you can fulfill at this stage. So, right. And also there are a few other forms similar to this as we were discussing. There are multiple forms, the licensee applicant information, These also need to be included in terms of the owner names and the social security numbers and your driver's license or identity document verifications they do. So everything has to be submitted and should be sent to the state for verification. But not one document at a time. Everything should be sent as one package. Listen to me carefully. It's a package, not a document. So all of the forms in section A, all of the documents in section B, put into a binder and mail it to the address that I mentioned during this session earlier. So likewise, you can go through all of these forms. And secondly, the most important area you had to prepare all these documents, job descriptions, personal policies, training plans, home care organization program descriptions. So all these documents should be created. So just to show you some sample guidelines, let's say this is how the job description should looks like. And this has to be created exactly as per the state guidelines for a home care organization. So it is to be comprehensive, and these are the state instructions, specific instructions, supervision given and supervision received should be mentioned. So likewise, everything they have given guidelines and we have to write based on the information. Alrighty, okay, so this is how you have to prepare your documentation and make sure these are ready before you submit the application package. All right. Okay, going back to the presentation, and we have how to create this documentation. Of course, you have to stick to the state guidelines and the regulations to make sure on how to create this documentation. And it definitely need to meet the administrative codes and the guidelines from the HCS 281. So that's the important document you should be referring to. Processing fees, that's as I mentioned, $5,603 for initial application fee for new providers, and fingerprinting fees of approximately $35 per person for live scanning. And renewal is going to be lesser amounts, but initial cost is you will be having to take care at the point of submission the application. Time frame is going to be 2 months, starting from 2 months to, let's say, 2 to 4 months time. You should be able to get the approvals when everything is perfectly submitted and everything is good to go. So that's something you need to think about. And before you submit, as I mentioned, everything, we can't afford to have any errors or any room for errors. So that's the most important thing that you should keep in mind. And post-submission follow-ups, so you will be getting assigned for HCO number, home care organization number, once you get the approvals from the state. And that's after you submit and get approval, the HCO number will be assigned to you. And okay, so these are the mistakes, the common mistakes that every provider would have. So you have to be very careful not to have any mistakes. So your document should be completed. Both section A and section B should be completed. And your organization information, so basically the ownership information should match all across, consistent in all of the documents. For example, your LLC, EIN, NPI, background check, insurance, application, everything should represent same legal business name, same legal business address. Make sure don't change it any point. Everything has to be consistent. And so there are points they call for orientation, but this is rarely in California. Recently, they haven't been calling for anyone for orientation, but it's on request, that's required as it's specified on the regulations. So yeah, and when the state comes with any information, especially for additional information requirements and requests, everything should be properly submitted on time, exactly as per the requirements and the way how they ask from you. They always communicate through emails after you submit the application. And so you have to be ready to and wait to hear from them through email and respond to them immediately to get the license. In case if you have any errors, that's when you have to worry about this. But if everything is perfect, then you will be getting the approval right from the first shot. Okay, any questions so far? Anyone with any questions? Okay, so the regulatory oversight and the compliance monitoring. What happens after you have received the license? So that's when, after you get the license, the state would come for unannounced visits to monitor your compliance. But the good news is that they issue you the initial license, and so you can still start to work, I mean, start to operate your agency. And the inspection is unannounced, they can come anytime, but still you have the license to operate. Unlike the other states, California, the license comes first and the inspection comes later. So you can start doing everything and not wait until the inspection pass to get the license certificate. So that's a good news that you should know. Okay, and how you can continue to keep your agency compliant. Of course, you have to be very much up to date. Maybe you can follow our news website. We always try to give home care updates, and we have Facebook group for home care agencies. This is a home care news. So we try to give more updated information across the country for all home care agency providers. So this is our news channel. But we have very up to date in terms of the peer support groups community. So you can try out those communities as well, community.carepolicy.us. So these communities are going to give you a lot of information in terms of how you can get, any questions that you have, you can ask in these communications. Righty, so going back to the presentation, real life example. Let's talk about something what we have been doing and what we have done recently. We just pulled out something to show you how we help you and how we get you the license from A to Z. So on the real life example, we take you through step-by-step licensing process, making sure we guarantee the success of your license as long as your background checks are clear and all the accurate information are submitted from your end, everything is good to go. So going back to, okay, I'll try to pull some of one of our clients' data to show you some kind of a sample on how we help you. So the first thing we do is to make sure we draft a detailed checklist, identifying everything that is needed to complete this licensure package. So once this document is created, we help you navigate through all of the information and we delegate what work we will be doing and what work you will be doing. So basically, few documents only are needed from the side from your end, because basically you need to provide the logo, LLC, EIN, and insurance documentation. And the rest of the supporting documents, everything we do that for you, and also we complete all the forms for you, everything we handle in terms of the documentation process. And also we assign you with a Google Drive to make sure we handle all of your documentations, and privately just giving you only access what is needed from our end and your end. So these are the forms that we will be completing for you. And on the section B, these are the supporting documentations that I was showing to you. So yep, like this, we have to create and complete this entire package, and so that it's ready to submit. Okay, so going forward, so we have to create the documents exactly as with the regulations. That's the most important thing. And also exactly meeting the state, the order of the documents that they ask for. So we have to have the binder very clear and organized on the order how they want it. Even when you write the policies and procedures, it should be the same order how the state is expecting us to be creating them and writing them for you. So, righty, and the client review, so there will be definitely a review process from our end. So we have 3 review processes to ensure that we don't miss out anything, because we can't afford to do that. No errors are allowed. So the first review happens from our document specialist, who will be going through all of the documents, cross-checking with the legislations and the regulation, and the latest communications from the state. And number 2, it will be your review as the client, as the provider, the owner. You should be verifying every information you submitted as accurate. Your NPA number, SSN number, or everything has to be accurate. There can be even a number or whatever missed, because that's going to cause months and years of delays in your application approvals. So final approval will be the consulting team. Our consulting team will go through final approval and give you the green light to submit the entire package once everything is good to go. So that happens within 21 days time. So during this 21 days time, the application submission, after for the checklist preparation, we need just 2 business days. And in 21 days after the business checklist is released for you, customized checklist, within 21 business days, then we'll be completing the entire documentation package for you. So in nearly 3 weeks' time, you should be able to submit to the state and wait to hear for the approvals from the state. So that's how fast we can help you to get the licensing approved for you. And the application submission is very crucial. We give you very specific guidelines on how you can submit the application, and this like this we create documentation for you. We tell you how to do, what you have to print and sign, what is the fee, and we tell you how much this fee is applicable, and submission instruction, how you can check and print the check or the money order. So every information and instructions we will be giving you clearly at our submission point. So you have to make sure you follow the instructions that we do and our consultation that you will be getting from our end. So ongoing compliance, this is basically we don't let you down until you get the approvals. We are still with you, and for the same price that you will be paying for consultation package. So that's something special that we do. And as I mentioned, we guarantee the license approvals for you. And even if there is any kind of a change or upgrade or update to the policy procedures or any documents that we created comes your way, asking you to do the changes, but you have no clue how to do that, because we are the ones who did the policies and procedures for you or any other documents. So we should be responsible from CarePulse and homecareconsulting.us. We are responsible to fix that for you. And more importantly, we are supposed to fix that within the timelines and the deadlines that the state has provided to you. If not, you will have heart attacks, with their short deadlines, like 7 days, 3 days, and sometimes like few days. They ask us to do the fixes and send quickly and turn it back to them. If not, there is the chance of entire rejection. Imagine paying $5,603 and getting the application rejected for a tiny error or a tiny mistake or omitted document, and having to resubmit by pay another $5,600 can cost you, of course, a big cost. We have to be very careful in submission, in review, and in all of the documents that we create and submit for you. So we have to be up in the game, and that's why we have a dedicated project team and account manager working with you alongside until you get approved uh, fastest possible time is what we are using to get yourself approved. Okay, so of course you get the license once everything is fulfilled, and this is how a sample license looks like. We just want to give you this how this looks like, but for some confidentiality information, we have blurred out the client information, but this is what you will be getting once you get the approvals. Okay, so any questions? Any questions that I can help you today with what we discussed so far? All right, so if no questions, I'll be proceeding to our next page. So at care policy, we have three options for you. So basically, what my recommendation for you is to use our consultation services to get everything handled from our end. So you are stress-free, we create your documentation, we do the regulation checks for you, we do the consultation for you, we do the documentation assistance, including policy procedures, every requirement, and also application fill in for you, submission instruction, and making sure you get the license. So that's covered under 2990 package that we offer for all our clients. That's something special because we cover up everything. But for those who already know the process, now as I explained, some of you should be able to do it yourself. So that's going to reduce the cost for you, and you can get the supporting documents back from us just for 990 and fill the application from your end, get the legal documents from your end, and get things ready and submit to the state, because you'll be getting all of the support documents. That is the difficult task. And for those who are looking just the policy procedures, it's 199. We have that option as well for you. Just get the policies and procedures. But my recommendation for you to get the complete consultation, as we cover up everything and we guarantee the license approval for you under this 299 package. All righty. Okay, so going forward. The next steps, my recommendation for those who are in California and trying to get a home care agency license, you should be getting your initial license for HCO home care organization for non-medical home care services. And your next step has to be Medi-Cal. It's not Medicaid in California, it's referred as Medi-Cal. So you should be applying for Medi-Cal. Of course, we can help you with that as well. So Medi-Cal approval is where you can get started with the Medicaid funded clients, and your revenue sources are going to expand. So later on, you can, of course, think about getting into home health services to provide skill services and try to go for Medicare after that from CMS 855 application. And later on, of course, you can also think about expanding into group homes and any other the service specialty. So you have a lot of options. And we can also help you with the branding, marketing to get you more clients, because this is our niche. This is what we do. We know exactly how to bring you clients, how to create your sales funnel, how to get you the leads, and how to get them into a call with you, how to set them connected with all the technology we have. We can definitely help you with. We have the SaaS and AI products and solutions for new providers to get leads and referrals and everything. So of course you can talk to us for those who need help in building their home care business. Yeah, a few of the recommendations and the reviews from our clients, and of course they are happy with our services. The main reason why they're happy, we give them personalized support. So once you become our consultation client, you become allocated for a dedicated team who will be working with you alongside. So even you don't respond to us, we will be following up with you and making sure we do the right thing for you and on time without missing any deadlines and making sure everything is success and everyone is happy. Okay, and few questions that most of the providers would have. Can I start with my home office? So the answer is yes. Don't start, don't rent out now itself, rent later when they come for inspection. Now start with your home office so you can save some cost. But if I'm a different state and have a different LLC, okay, still you can do this and you can register as a foreign entity in California. My recommendation, even if you are from a different state, just register your new LLC in the state of California and just get started as a brand new company. You can do that. Experience in healthcare? No, you don't need any specific skills like RN skills or RN license for non-medical home care agency in California. You can start with the basic the administrative part of it and start working in terms of the application documentations, everything for you to get licensed. But once you start to provide caregiving, of course you need to hire the people that is required to provide the services, but you can still act as an administrator as you are the owner of the business. You don't need to hire people now. So my recommendation, every new provider, just stick to yourself right at the beginning journey. So it's fast track licensing journey, less background check and fingerprinting requirement. So once you license, after you get the license, of course, you can hire people to provide the operational services. Okay, any questions and anyone with any questions? All right, okay. If anyone, nobody has any questions, I think we are good to go. And make sure reach out to us if you have any questions for hello@carepolicy.us. And we will be helping you with all the questions that you have. And as a token of appreciation for those who joined the session today, we give you a special coupon code for Bootcamp 10, which is going to be 10% off for your all of the products that you purchase from us, but this is valid just for next 3 days. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you very much for joining and listening to me. And yep, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and we are ready to support you every step of the journey.
Thank you so much. I'll be reaching out. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very
you.
much. Bye-bye.